All right, so we're gonna start by doing same thing. We'll do like one, two, then some medium, some hard. And the easy ones, these I think are gonna be more on run-ons and fragments, I think. Some will involve punctuation. Punctuation is kind of a big deal. So if you look at number one, for example, art is never static. It is a constantly evolving medium that blanks the changed society in which it exists. Um, we probably don't need to read any further. What do you guys think for number one? Yeah, that reflects. Yeah, the other ones just sound awkward. Definitely D sounds awkward. B and C sound incomplete personally. So I'll go A. Yeah. Number two, improvements in forensic taphonomy, the study of human blank, and quantitative data have led to more reliable analysis techniques based on modern skeletal samples. Many of these improvements are due to the expansion of teaching facilities. These days, 5 decomposition labs operate in the United States. Okay. Now, here's the deal with this one. Notice the dash. The dash will serve a couple of purposes. Does anyone know how we or why we have dashes? I want to take a stab. Why the dash? You have yeah, totally. It's like a colon. It could be used for that purpose. Like for example, if you're listing something, if you said, I like living in Sacramento for a few reasons, dash, I'm close to the American River, I could get a good house for good money. Um, there's the Sacramento Kings, there's good restaurants, whatever, right? Also, it could be used as what we call a non-essential clause. And that's usually how it's tested on the SAT. Now, think of the word non-essential, means not needed, right? Remember 5 years ago, COVID, you had essential workers like firemen, police officers, hospital workers, grocery store clerks, whatever, because we needed them, right, to function as a society. But non-essential means not needed. So why am I talking about that here? Because look at D. If I put the word decomposition with a dash, is that phrase in between the dashes needed? No. Let's read it again. Improvements in forensic taphonomy, and then let me remove that, and quantitative data have led to more reliable analysis techniques based on modern skeletal samples. We did not need the phrase the study of human decomposition. That was not necessary, hence not essential. So when that happens, when you have a phrase like that, there's three ways to set it off. Dash, dash, comma, or parentheses, parentheses. And you have to be mindful about that. It's a pretty subtle thing. A little surprised this is under easy. I would say it's probably more medium for this one. And because you saw the dash earlier, you have to go to the dash later on. You can't do dash and then comma. You can't mix it up. Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, I was just looking for.
Oh, Sarah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
This is my office. I'm just here for like 5
Oh,
minutes.
no. Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah, yeah. I'm with Brian. So, yeah. Sorry. I'm Brian's friend teaching a class. So, oh, no worries. I thought you were one of the parents or something. It's like, okay, all right. No, it's all good. I was like confused. All right. But yeah, anyways, that's what's happening there. Let me show you a few more examples so you guys can get more comfortable with this type of topic. And at the end of your binders, these binders are actually pretty full now, but I did put one section at the end that said extra packets. Might need a binder, but I'm going to put some stuff in the Google Drive. So the Google Drive is right here. You see, it says extra packets. I put some things here. Actually, let me open this one. It's probably better. I think it's under punctuation part 2. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I think this will work. Maybe. Hold on. I think it's gonna be part 1, actually. Apostrophe is another one too we gotta talk about. Come on, where are you? There we go. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Take a look at number 2 here. Let me zoom in a tad more because it's a little hard to read. And the Z is like the beautiful looking Z there. L. Frank Baum, who is best known for The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, actually wrote 13 novels based on the Land of Oz. Now, there probably should be a comma right here because you have a comma right here as well. And is that phrase needed? Who is best known for The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? I mean, if you didn't know who L. Frank Baum was, sure. But you could have just said L. Frank Baum actually wrote 13 novels based on the Land of Oz. That sounds complete. So if that middle phrase, if you take it out, that's the trick. Take it out and it still sounds complete. That means that middle phrase was not needed. It was not essential. Put two commas, two dashes, or parentheses. Don't mix it up. Um, why have it in the first place? Well, why have leather seats in a car? Why have air conditioning in a car? Why have heated seats or cooling seats? Will the car still run? Yeah. As long as you have an engine or if you have a battery like a Tesla, but it's not needed to drive the car, right? So that's what's happening. Hopefully that makes sense for that one. So we'll move on because that's a thing that a lot of students sometimes have a hard time catching. So I think what would be important is to give you lots of drilling on that, and then ultimately when you're confronted with it, okay, I could identify it. It's kind of like the game of baseball, right? Anyone play baseball as a kid? Kind of, right? So how's baseball work, right? Like, did it always gonna throw a fastball every time? No. Sometimes you get a changeup, sometimes you get a curve, sometimes you get a slider, whatever, right? And you have to judge it based upon the situation. Maybe it's a 1-2 count with runners on first and second, two outs. I don't know, right? It depends. Ninth inning, whatever. So you sometimes have to be mindful of what's coming your way because it's gonna be disguised. But I will give you drilling, the extra packets. It's actually there already in the Google Drive. And I'll add you guys to the Google Drive because now I have email addresses. Um, so you can practice that. Now let's move on to Medium. Let's go to page 174. It's a little tricky for this one. Um, I'm gonna go C on this one. It sounds kind of weird. The Universal Zetetic Society had devout, albeit small, group of followers and published two periodicals during its existence. Okay. Oh, did I leave it out there? Oh, sorry. I just figured. Thanks, appreciate it. I wonder what else I left out there. Probably my head. Okay. Um, albeit just kind of like saying, even though you didn't have to say that, right? I could have just dropped this and this and just said the Universal Zetetic Society had a devout group of followers and published two periodicals during its existence. I didn't need to say that. So comma, comma. Again, non-essential clause. Let's move on to two. Okay, why don't you guys work on two and tell me what you think? Thoughts? What do you guys think? D? Yeah. Constructed based on all these varying factors to determine the premium any given individual should pay. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll move on to hard. Let's go to page 177, 1 and 2. This one's a bit tricky. And I might be actually kind of going against what I just said earlier. I'll tell you one thing. It's not B. That's just weird. And it's not D, because you never do that. So it's down to A or C. What do you guys think?
See?
Yeah, it's C. A is interesting because you could remove that phrase and it still sounds fine. But we actually kind of need it because you need to know why they're making less money, right? that is essential actually. It's part of the, it would sound complete. But I mean, the one about Wizard of Oz, I mean, if you talk to a bunch of people who know movies, then sure, you didn't probably didn't have to say that. Like, I mean, Steven Spielberg, I know he did, Jurassic Park, so you don't have to tell me that, right? I know that. Or Heath Ledger was in The Dark Knight. I know that. You don't have to tell me that, right? He won an Academy Award, but you didn't have to like say certain things like that that were not necessary. But here, yeah, we kind of need it. So, um, okay, go and try two. And pay careful attention to the tense. So fair, I saw you got it. Why did you pick the one you picked? Well, first of all, which one did you pick?
Let's see.
Okay, and why did you pick it?
Because honestly, just like it's the only thing that makes total like sense.
Yeah, A and B sound weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I would agree. A and B do sound weird. Also, it's past tense.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
tense makes
Yeah.
sense.
And Watergate something happened
Watergate
50 something years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. It's back when we actually would impeach and remove presidents. We don't do that anymore now. So anyhow, yeah, okay. Cool. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Sentence structure part two drills. So this is heavy on punctuation. We're gonna start getting the colons, semicolons perhaps, and maybe even apostrophes, I think. I'm trying to see. Maybe not. Huh. But maybe it's gonna be there'll be some on apostrophes. That's okay. Okay, so let's start with hold on. Page 188, 1 and 2. So I'll tell you one thing right now, without actually reading it, I'm gonna automatically eliminate A and C. Why are A and C automatically out?
Does this treat the first sentence as an independent clause?
Well, they're the same thing. That is what a semicolon does. Yes, a semicolon separates two independent clauses. That's correct. Anything before a semicolon, anything after a semicolon, a period does the same exact thing. So if A works, how come C can't work? Can we have two answers? No. So without even reading it, I can automatically eliminate those two. They're never going to ask you to distinguish between a semicolon and a period because they're not distinguishable. They're the same thing. Why they do it's more of a preference. Like maybe you want to show that the statement before the semicolon kind of leads to the statement after the semicolon, sure, but they have to be independent clauses regardless. So I mean, that be standalone sentences, right? Complete sentences. So I'm not going to do that. So now it's down to B or D. Now, if you read one more time, when Hyatt made it clear this was unacceptable to the woman of the movement, she was offered a seat. Yeah, I'll go with a comma. What's happening there, we call it comma splice. Splice when we cut things. There are comma splice errors when you put a comma in place of a period when there really should be a period or semicolon. But here we use a comma because the statement beforehand, when Hyatt made it clear this was unacceptable to the woman of the movement, blah, 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 that's dependent. That depends on another statement. We can't, it's not standalone. She was offered a seat on the platform, but no, I mean, that's independent afterwards. Usually when you have something like that happening, you need a comma to separate those two clauses. It's kind of saying, although it is hot outside, comma, I'm going to wear a sweater. I'm going to wear a sweater is complete. Although it's hot outside, that can't be complete. So you have dependent, independent, you use a comma to separate those two. Two. Go read two and tell me what you think. They got a little political here. That's because when that particular president became president. That's when it happened. They got attacked. Anyway, what do you got? So here you're elaborating on the slogan. When you're elaborating, first you can't go B, right? That doesn't sound complete. D sounds awkward, and so does C. It's going to be A because you're elaborating on the new slogan. So colons are used for two purposes. Colon could be used to list things. We said, I'm going to bring the following items to the beach: umbrella, towel, cooler, chairs, whatever, right? Or if you're elaborating on something, and this is what we're doing. Let's keep moving. Page 190, number one. Okay. The processes behind vision and hearing are quite similar. And then explain. They both function through reflected waves of energy. Here's a problem. I can't go A because it would be a run-on. Because it sounds complete. The process behind vision and hearing are quite similar. Complete sentence. They both function through reflected waves of energy. Complete sentence. And you explain why they're similar, right? So are we elaborating on how they're similar? We're gonna go colon. Yeah. A colon, think of a colon like this too. It's like using the word because. So the process behind vision here are quite similar because they both function. If you could do that, because why would you use because in the first place? To elaborate, right? So if you could do that, it sounds cool. Yeah, the colon's good. I like it. So hopefully this is getting you a little more familiar with these punctuation marks. I assume some of you guys probably use Grammarly quite a bit for your papers, maybe. I don't know. Some people, I've had some students tell me that. But we do need to be aware of how these work. Okay, go and take a look at two. Read it very carefully. So does it sound complete? Recently, engineers built the first 3D bioprinting production system. Complete sentence? Do you agree? Afterwards, it is hoped that someday the machine will have the capacity to print organs and body parts from layers of living tissue. Sound complete? Yeah, I don't like B. That's very disruptive to put a colon between hoped and that. And A is totally a run-on. And D, forget about that one. So I'll go C. Yep. Okay, then let's go to hard ones. Ooh, this is a good one. I like this one a lot. I see one on the Blue Book app that looks just like this one. Now, when you use the word however, you're contrasting clearly, right? But very important, the placement of it is critical because you want to make sure you're contrasting correctly. Take a moment to read it and be very mindful of like A and C, for example, because notice that there's a semicolon after however, and there's a period before however. So we want to know that we want to make sure we're contrasting the right things. What do you guys think? How's A look? Yeah. Because you're contrasting the first sentence with the second sentence. So you want to make a second sentence but you're not contrasting the second to third. If you picked C, you've been contrasting the third with the second, but the second and third agree with each other, right? So you read it again one more time. Author J.R.R. Tolkien professed that he disliked 16th century English writer William Shakespeare. This does not mean that Tolkien was not influenced by Shakespeare, however. Then you go on to explain afterwards. However, you must contrast the second with the first sentence. However, it must be part of that second sentence, not part of the third. So that's what I'd say. Number 2. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to cross off A and B. They serve the same purpose. Now it's down to 50-50. Coin flip. No, don't flip a coin. Which one sounds better, C or D? Yep. Yeah, C's awkward. This way, you make it clear for yourself, right? You're efficient. Because sometimes if we go about haphazardly, like, I don't know, let me see what sounds, and like you're kind of confused, you gotta be very logical. And I told you guys, like, I was terrible at this stuff because my parents don't speak English. I mean, they came to this country and they can speak English. My dad went to college, he went to San Jose State, but my mom went to the American University of Cairo. Like, fine, but I didn't know these rules were growing up. And back then, you had to do an extra test called SAT subject test. If your parents are in their 40s or 50s, they'll know, and they went to school around here, they know that for UCs, you have to take these extra tests. And there was a test like this. Like you had to do this. I was terrible with it because I was trying to go based off sound and looks. And I was not being very, very logical about it. You got to be logical about it. You got to be logical. Um, and when you are, you're going to do great, right? And that's the approach I take. That helps me. So it's gonna help. I think it'll help you guys too. Because if you, again, you just can't go based off sound. You have to really be logical about this. Okay, so that covers that stuff. I will say standards conventions typically when you do a practice test, they'll do these sub scores for these 4 categories. We did craft and structure yesterday. We did information ideas. Of course, we're doing standard English conventions. We'll do expression ideas a little later. And they do like a 7 scale rating. And I see usually this one is the lowest of the 4, just because it's something that we don't really practice. But I think it's the most coachable though. Definitely think it's most coachable. All right, next up's on verbs. So this is going to be more intense as well as subject, singular, plural. So this one here, I think they're testing on tense, whether it should be present, past, or future. Go ahead and read it and tell me what you guys think. So let's look at number 1, Aristotle. Probably past tense, right? Okay, everything's past tense. So I'd say were. I'd say D. Let's move on to 2. Actually, I'll get my voice a little break. Fair, do you want to read number 2, please? Thanks.
The type of writing known as muckraking blank, very popular in America in the early 20th century in both books and newspapers.
So we're talking about past, present, or future. Totally past. I'll go was. Yep. Yep. Okay. And this would be module 1. So, don't overthink them, right? Okay, now let's move on to page 208. And Charlotte, can you read number 1, please?
One of the most enduring myths ever spread blank to the reason for Christopher Columbus's voyage to the New World. Despite the lingering belief that Columbus took the sea to disprove the notion that the earth is flat, there was no such notion to disprove in the 15th century. Since the time of the ancient Greeks, scholars have been aware that the earth was spherical, just like the moon and visible planets.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that one? It's interesting because we do see a bunch of things written in past tense, but I'm not sure if I'd really go with, well, definitely not B, that's for sure. I don't know if I would say A or D. Are you guys feeling C? Yeah, I'd feel C. Yeah, because you're saying it's a myth. That's still happening, right? That myth is still happening. Yeah, it relates to it. So yeah. And then Christian, can you read number 2, please?
Historically, the preferred method of mosquito control, blank, harsh chemicals and pesticides. Today, however, strategies such as biocontrol, source reduction, habit modification, and trapping are preferred because they are less harmful to people and the environment.
Okay. Here, this is I like this one a lot. Look at A, B, and C. Those are all singular. Look at D, that's plural. I'm probably gonna lean towards a plural before even reading this one. Not saying you should do that. You should still read it. But what's your subject? Is the subject mosquito control or the methods of mosquito control? It's the methods, right? We call this a prepositional phrase. Let me close that. That's kind of annoying. Ah, so much better. Let me erase that one more time. Okay. Yeah, methods of we call this a prepositional phrase. Prepositions are words like on, off, in, out, of, to, from, with, words like that. When you have those phrases, the subject will tend to come before the preposition. Like if I said the development of office buildings is expensive. I'm talking about the development, not the office buildings. If I say office buildings are expensive, fine. But I said the development of, I gotta say is. In this case, we're gonna go were because it's the methods. A little subtle. And then let's take a look at page 211. Okay. Lionfish, which are native to the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, are considered invasive in the Atlantic Ocean. According to expert Mark Hickson, collecting individual lionfish and introducing fish that are known to prey on them are two options for helping the ecosystem recover for too much damage. What do you guys think? Everything seems like it's present tense, right? Are native, are considered, are known, are two options. So probably keep it because it sounds kind of weird. So I say B. And it's also kind of passive. The damage is not doing the causing. The damage is caused. Okay, let's go to. Sorry, got a little distracted. Okay. In Morse code, each of 26 basic Latin letters and 10 Arabic numerals. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. I like this one a lot. This is a hard one, right? Yeah. All right. Remember what I said earlier? Take a look at all the verbs. 3 of them are plural. 1 is singular. Not saying the odd man's out, or say not the odd man is the one. Wouldn't be out in this case. It would be the one you pick. But here's the thing. We talk about prepositional phrases. We have the word of. Each. Each is singular. I guess it is. Just gotta be is. I know it's tempting to say plural, Maybe you might want to say be, perhaps. I mean, the tense obviously is present, of course. But yeah, it's each. So let me also we'll talk about pronouns too. This is kind of a good thing to talk about. Would I say Rio Marcano and their students are blah blah blah, or I say Rio Marcano and its students? Is Rio Marcano how many schools? One school gotta say its. To the schools in Sacramento and their students, I gotta say there in that case. So you gotta be mindful of that. Or if I said each person is entitled to his or her own thoughts, great. Each person. As I want to say, each person isn't are entitled. No, we wouldn't say that at all, right? So you have to be mindful about that. Logic. Ooh, the next one's gonna be fun. I love this next one. Got a little fun story with this one too. All right. Pronouns, nouns, and modifiers. And I think because this is because the next pack is also kind of short, I think I do want to do some practice with this, right? I do want to do that. Okay. Yeah, so now we're talking about punctuation. Sorry, apostrophes. Okay. When you use an apostrophe, it has to be possessive or a contraction. Like if I said Noah's book or Noah's Ark, and I know, sorry, that's a dumb joke, but but you know what I mean. That's possessive, right? If I said this, Noah's on his way, that's a contraction. I'm saying Noah is on his way. That's the two ways we use it. Now, over here, it's definitely possessive. The scales belong to the fish, right? So don't we need to have fish possessive, right? And whenever it's plural possessive, and it's kind of weird, fishes, that's kind of interesting, but regardless, you have to actually fish on its own is plural, but anyway. But when you do a plural possessive, you put an S and apostrophe after the S. So it's gonna be C for that one. And you're not gonna go with A or B because the scales are not possessive themselves. It's the fish are possessive. So totally gonna be C for that one. Okay, two I like a lot. I have a kind of a fun story with this one here. Okay, take a look at two. All of them are going to sound actually complete. And actually, all of them sound pretty good. But there's only one answer. And these are ones that I catch all the time now. But it's maybe because I was traumatized. I'll explain why in a good way. Um, all right. Anyone have an idea what they want to say for two?
Mhm.
Yeah, why?
It's like, about by founding the great
Uh-huh.
anthems who worked to fight agents.
Who did who did the founding?
Who?
Kuhn. He's got to be right next set that statement. So this right here, this is a new topic. This is very important. This is called, let me just get highlight this. That's hard to read. This phrase right now is called a modifier. It sounds weird. When I hear the word modify, I think of changing. In grammar, it means description. It's a description. Who the heck are we describing? Did the fighting ageism? Did the finding of the Great Panther? No, a person did, right? Now they have Kuhn for B, but it's Kuhn's work as a possessive. His work founded the Great Panthers? No. And C is the same thing. The work of Kuhn founded the Great Panthers? No. Did Kuhn himself find it? 100%. It's got to be D. If it's not, if Kuhn is not right next to that phrase, then we call this a misplaced modifier, meaning it's not in the right place. Let me show you in the Google Drive. I'm pretty sure. I did not put it there. Okay, I gotta take care of that. Let me show you this right here. It's my crazy Dropbox folder. Control packets. Grammar. Modification. That's one. Awesome. That's it. This, I think, they lay it on pretty thick here. An elementary school teacher from Arkansas increased funding support for public libraries, what Bessie Bohm advocated for. Who was an elementary school teacher from Arkansas? Was increased funding support? No. Was Bessie Bohm more? Yes. That's why this is better. Even though they sound complete, they both sound complete. An elementary school teacher from Arkansas, Bessie Bohm Moore, advocated for increased funding support for public libraries. That is now connected. Sometimes it's called dangling when they're not connected. We call it dangling or misplaced modifiers. Now that's correct. And the quick story is that I didn't know about this rule until my senior year of college, until my last year at UC San Diego, literally my last quarter. I was doing my engineering class and we're doing a project, and the professor ripped apart my paper and not literally, but pretty much just ripped me a new one. And said, Gus, you're about to go out in the workforce and you can't write. And he recommended a book for me and some things. I wound up working at Intel about 3 months later. But to be intelligible in front of these adults who have PhDs and super smart people like from MIT and Stanford, yeah, I have to make sure I can write well. And so that lit a fire underneath me. It's like, okay, I gotta learn how to write because I didn't know these rules. I didn't know them until I was like 21 years old. You guys are much younger than that. So you guys now you know. If you didn't know, now you know. And we need to make sure we look for that. Once you catch it, you'll never miss it. For me, because I was traumatized by it, I don't. And I'm cool with this professor. We actually would meet up later on, later in life, and if I were to see him right now, we'd be really cool. But he was a hard ass. So. And yeah, this is an engineering class, which is ironic, right? But you gotta write. Writing is a good skill to have. That's my little story there. Okay, let's move on to page 224. Go and try 1 and 2 on your own, and then we'll check in a moment. So go and try 1 and 2 on page 224. Let's go for yeah. If you guys ever need to go, just go. You don't have to ask. It's totally fine. What do you guys think?
It's a B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Species sounds interesting, right? It's actually singular. It's a concept of keystone species. So it has to be singular, right? Yeah. So it's gonna be. We talked about that, right? Like, Real Americana and their students and its students, right? We talked about that. That's important. Okay. And then we got one more here. Two, what do you guys say for two? Yep. The Photographs Wanted exhibition. It's now if it was more than one exhibition, by the way. Well, actually, none of them would work. You put the apostrophe after the S, but they didn't have an option like that. Because if you look at D, they have photographs possessives, no good. So yeah. Okay. All right, then we get hard ones here, and then we're gonna move on to the next packet. A recent study of North American songbirds found that hybrids of black-capped and mountain chickadees occur more often than previously thought. Blank also revealed that the hybrid songbirds were more likely to be found in human-altered landscapes, although the reason for that correlation is not yet known. Not sure I would say you. That seems weird. But you're talking about the study. One study, not two studies, or three or four or five. Which one's gonna go with? Just one study. C? Yep, I go C. Perfect. Good. Awesome. Lovely. Okay, two. Ooh, that's a good one. Two. A lot going on here. The thing about possessives, we're on page 227. So the shapes belong to the roots, right? The present belongs to the water, right? And I guess roots could be plural, possessive, sure. Because they say plant roots later on in the passage or the blurb. So if it's plural possessive, you definitely put apostrophe after the S. Water's got to be possessive. I'm gonna go B. Yeah. Be the right one for that one there. Okay, cool. So
Number 4 at C.
what was that? Oh, yes, it was C, correct. Yes, correct. Good. Okay. So 1/4 of this packet's been done now. All right, 1/4 of this packet's done. We got plenty more practice. Okay, the next one's actually shorter. It's a little tricky. It says transitions and drills. Transition drills, sorry. It's only I think just 2 sets, so this is pretty short. And I think we'll have a little bit of time to do maybe go in the Blue Book app and we can kind of we'll burn a test and we'll kind of look at some of these questions again. And maybe you guys can kind of work in pairs and I'll walk around and see how you guys are doing. I imagine we'll get this packed done in 15 minutes. So 238. Give my voice a little bit of break. No, can you read number one, please?
United States alone uses 100 billion plastic bags a year. Although plastic bags can technically be recycled, Americans recycle fewer than 5% of the plastic bags they use. This means that the majority of plastic bags end up in landfills rather than being turned into something new. Blank, not all discarded bags even make it to a landfill. Plastic bags make up a significant portion of ocean used today.
Okay, before we answer this question, one thing I need to show you guys. Going back to my drills again. Told you that's a long, long time. So I got all this stuff here. Should be organized a little bit better. Maybe it's here. Yes, there we go. Yes, exactly what I want. Good. Okay, transitions. Transitions can indicate an addition or time or sequences, or to give an example, or contrast or comparisons. If you want to add something, sure, say furthermore. Like you could say, I love the 49ers because they won 5 Super Bowls. Furthermore, Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league. It's true. Okay. Sure, I could do that. Or I could say, I love football. However, I don't want my son to play because I don't want to get a concussion. That's a contrast, right? That's another transition word. And some are a little more subtle, perhaps. Or you could say, football is a very, very dangerous sport. As a result, or because of this, you can get a concussion. That would be more showing results, right? So this is what we have to be mindful about. We have to be very mindful of the context, big time. So if I read this again, this means that the majority of plastic bags end up in landfills. Blank, not all discarded even make it to a landfill. So you're agreeing. You're giving another reason. You're not contrasting, so you're not going to say C. Traditionally sounds weird. Why would I say traditionally? But it's not cause and effect. A and D are a bit subtle. It's not cause and effect. Therefore, not all. No, you're just giving another reason. So it's A. It's moreover. You can say also not all of you make it to landfill. And we like transitions because it does make our writing sound more smooth, right? It flows better when we use transition words. Okay, say we get 2. Just read to yourselves. So you're not contrasting, so you're not gonna say B. You're not giving an example. If you said like the field forensic anthropology has had a surge, and they say, for example, shows like Law and Order, great. Then you could say that, I guess, but no, I'm not gonna say for example either. So it's down to A or D, but are you being specific? Not necessarily. You're actually comparing. Similarly, it also has been the last 2 decades at the field, whatever. So you're saying it's similar in some ways, that there's another surge, right? There's a surge in the TV shows, there's a surge in interest in majoring in it. Those are similar things. We're comparing. So I say D. These tend to show up, I think, right after the grammar questions. So we're going to go through a module in just a minute. Well, not a minute, in a few minutes, because I really want you guys to see how it looks, how it's set up. Okay. Let's try number 1. I'm not saying in addition to, right? Because they say is expected increase, so it might happen. Right? Try putting your own words. It might happen. it's not happening for sure. I mean, a then is more of a sequence of events. Like this happened, then this happened. This is expected to happen. I go see. Eventually. Eventually, Maryland may build. Yeah. Okay. And then let's look at 2. And those are similarities for comparison. Furthermore, it's like saying also. Therefore, it's like saying because. So A, B, and D, even though they're positive, they insinuate a positive flow between sentences. They're different purposes, right? Similar is a comparison. Furthermore, it's like saying also. Therefore is cause and effect. Rather is a contrast. So I wouldn't say rather unless it is a contrast. So a group of researchers revealed that the dental damage suffered by captive orcas, the longer they had been in captivity, the worse their tooth wear, likely in part from biting on hard tank surfaces. Okay. They revealed that. Okay. Blank, it should not occur to this extent among orcas in the wild, where no tanks exist to frustrate the whales. So you're not saying further, we're not saying also, right? And similarly, it's not definitely similar because you're saying the ones in the wild don't have that problem. But we are doing a bit of a contrast. Sorry, we're not doing a contrast. Sorry, my bad. We're not. So I say therefore. Therefore should not occur to this extent among orcas in the wild. Yeah. Because they're not exposed to tank surfaces. So therefore, yeah, say D. And then lastly, for 243. Got a lot about forensics. It's crazy. Here we're in a law office. Okay. All right. Again, so there's a comparison. For instance, like saying, for example, fortunately, there'd have to be a contrast why you want, I mean, sorry, context, why I want to say fortunately. Indeed, it's like saying in fact. Anyone like A? That's good. Anyone like B? That's good. Anyone like C? Yeah. C will be the right one. Indeed, legal channels have recently shifted. Because they say because the evidence such analysis provides a scientific certainty, it renders expertise of forensic unnecessary. Indeed, the channels have shifted the focus cases to methods used and reliability of findings from forensic scientists rather than on the credentials, right? So it's really more about the methods, not the credentials, right? Okay. But there's a lot of words there, so it kind of threw it off a little bit. 2. Christopher, can you read number 2? Just give my voice a little break.
Yeah. When asked how many senses humans have, nearly everybody would answer 5. This belief is so widespread, and it's common to refer to people with heightened or odd abilities as having a sixth sense. Blank, there are many more than 5 or 6 human senses. There could even be as many as 21.
Okay. So let's look at this one here. Actually, the answer key seems a little off to me. Oh, never mind. I was looking at the wrong one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, unfortunately, doesn't make sense. I was looking, I was like, wait, that answer can't be D. The unfortunate makes no sense. I want to say it. Would in fact make sense? In fact, there are more. Yeah. Because of context. Therefore, not really doing cause effect. For instance, not saying it's not saying like also. That's why you'd say for instance. I wouldn't say that either. So cool. Let's move on to all right. So these here. These are kind of funny questions. This is a brand new thing to the SAT. They've never done this before. It's called rhetorical synthesis. What's happening here is they give you bullet points, and there's a question, and you have to use the proper information to answer the question. So some information might be irrelevant. You have to filter it out and go with what is needed, right? That's what you have. You have to refine this information to choose what you need to answer the question. It's a good skill to have in life, right? To be logical. Like if, for example, if someone was telling me how to bake a cake, but I talked about why Ozzy Osbourne died last week or whatever. That's not relevant, right? I know I'm not nothing of a good example. Or I talk about the history of how flour was refined. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like tell me how to bake a darn cake, right? So you want to make sure you're relevant. That's what you want. So let's look at this. So let's look at the question first. I like looking at the question first. The student wants to emphasize the length of time between the creation and release of 100 years. The the sentence afterwards, which choice most effectively, blah, 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 uses relevant, right? You don't need to read that because they always say that. It's really the first sentence you gotta know. We want to emphasize the length of time. Okay, let's talk about it. 100 Years of Science Fiction film made in 2015. Fine. It was written by John Malkovich, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Fine. It was shown for the first time November 18th, 2115. Okay. Okay. That would emphasize the length of time. Okay. 1,000 people have received medal invitation tickets for the first showing. So I'm probably gonna go with maybe a combination of the first and third bullet points, right? So I think that makes sense, right? Kind of interesting, actually. I didn't even know this. So I learn a lot of trivial stuff when I do this stuff. So if I look at B looks good, right? The 2015 science fiction film 100 Years will be shown on November 18th, 2115, 100 years after its production. And I think we'll all be long gone by then. Unless some of you guys lived 107 years old, might. My wife's great aunt did live to that long. I'll be gone, but anyway, yeah, it would be B. That makes sense. The 1,000 people, who cares, right? But you gotta say 2115. Gotta say that somewhere. So it's gotta be B. It's gotta be relevant. Okay, go and try number 2 on your own. And wants to describe the events leading to an invitation. And the events leading to it. Writing the letter, I think, was probably one of those events for sure. So the third bullet point has got to factor into our answer. What do you guys say? D? Yeah, good. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, I agree. D. I mean, true, maybe A is okay, but is that letter that was written? B, C, no, no, B, yeah. All right, so the student wants to introduce a specific application of a mathematical concept. Okay. So a specific application. Probably that last one that talks about it, the compressed images, the JPEG 2000. And probably, yeah. So some of the JPEG 2000, D, not really. I'll go B. B as in boy. So wants to draw a comparison between two perceived meanings of a work. Two perceived meanings. So say Mirpole performed as a protest song. And the second one's a good one, actually. Describe the horror felt in response to race-based lynchings in the United States. And then the last one stated that the song reminded her of her father, who died after being denied medical treatment due to racial prejudice. Yeah, I'll go B. B makes sense. And then last up, let's go to U65, number 1. The student wants to describe a surprising result of a research study to an audience familiar with rapid eye movement sleep. Okay. So surprising result. Nothing surprising that first bullet point. Nothing surprising that second one. Maybe the third one. Let's look at the fourth one. Maybe the last two. I don't know. That might work. Isn't that surprising? Yeah, I go D. While preparing to test, I mean, unexpected discovery. They talk about discovery. Only been shown this because they talk about this is a bit subtle. Cuttlefish and octopuses are the only invertebrates who are known to have something like REM sleep, but then discovered that spiders do too. So, and then finally number 2. And sometimes they have 6 bullet points. That could be crazy. Um, So student wants to emphasize the study's methodology. Okay. Definitely that second bullet point. They pumped organ X pumped into the pig's bodies a blood substitute. That is totally a method. Pumping something, that's explain the method there. Other pigs received no treatment, fine. And then maybe the fourth one also. But something along those regards, or those lines. Now it's a little tricky because I'm looking at B. But yeah, we'll actually look confused. Give me a sec here on this one. Compared, yeah, they have D for this one to compare the to determine the effectiveness of organ exercise at Yale University, compare dead pigs treated with that system. So I guess the system is organ X, right? And I guess that kind of encapsulates when they say that system. To those given the treatment and those treated in an ECMO machine. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's D. That's a little subtle. Okay, cool. Here's what we're gonna do. How are you guys feeling right now? Okay. So let's go ahead and open up. If you guys can go to the Bluebook app again. So it should be on your device, and if you don't have it, so maybe for you and Shark could work together, and colleagues work with your brother. Yeah, if you could, if you look at the Bluebook app and log into your College Board accounts, we're gonna open up the test together. Ah, lovely. Downloading and updates. Why not mine opening? Okay, there we go. Let me sign in. Okay, once you're in, go and click on full length practice test. And let's do PSAT 10 test number 1. Let me make sure everyone's at the same place. Yeah, go and click PSAT and then yeah, 10. Perfect. It's like test 1.
Do I have to sign in?
You gotta sign in first, yes.
Do I have to sign
Let's take a look. You gotta open up the app first. Or it's just going to your program, so your app was that's cool, nice. Okay, are you? Okay, okay, go try. Yeah, sometimes it could be a little stubborn. Okay, so you're almost there. No, good. Sure, let's take a look. Okay, great. And I'll just wait for a moment. We'll do PSAT actually. And we'll do that's 1. Yeah. Okay, about half you guys are there. Just gotta make sure Ian and the brothers are there. You need a having issue with password. Yeah. So let's see. forget password, I could pick this into your email. Click on forget password, that might help. Or otherwise, I could just put you guys up and you guys can work. Okay, cool. Go ahead and sign in. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select next. It's going to set up the practice test for me. Next. Okay, it's already starting for me right now. So does anyone oh, let me hide that. Does everyone see this is our first question? Yeah, just keep you do okay, great. Noah. Make sure you got that, Charlotte. Cool. Okay. Where is it? Let's see. Let's take a look. Just click on yeah, click PSAT yes. Then the PSA 10, and then test 1. Great. The next thing. Okay, if you guys can't get it's okay. Why don't you guys just split up? Or is it in your email right now?
I'm trying to- oh, great.
Oh, but you have it because you're able to download it.
No, it's because I got a Chromebook, so
Yeah, your Chromebook could be kind of funny.
yeah.
Why don't you guys split up and watch so Colin, why don't you work with that Eden? And Chris, we can work with that now. It's fine. Let's do that. So actually this kind of and then you guys can collaborate too. Christian will help out. So okay, here's what I want you guys to do. Let's I know you guys were kind of starting with the first one, and that's fine. But let's jump to like say let's jump to 16. So you can jump if you see right down there, you can jump. So you see you're in the system right now, right? Let's jump to 16. You see that's like grammar, right? Standard English conventions. And let's then go to like 21. Yeah. So 16 to 21 are all questions solely dedicated for standards in English convention. Okay. Let's do those 6 questions. Okay. And I'll bring some of the snacks in here so you guys have the snacks.
Should 16 through 21?
Yeah, 16 to 20, yes.
There's something that you get.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry, slow. Right at the crack. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I think it's
And don't worry, we will do a break also.
I don't.
oh, yeah,
It's like the best thing you could do. Hey, that's right.
So I'm briefly disconnecting. I'm gonna do it also and see if we get the same answers.
Yeah.
Love 19. Just talked about that.
No. Wait, yes.
I'll tell you. Well, we're gonna score it at the end also. We'll yeah. I'll tell you. I mean, I think I'm right. I don't know. Yeah, I'll come help you guys. I think I already got through these here.
It's in between two captains. Yeah. There's more than that, yeah.
Good. Yeah, I agree. Good. Good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's fine. So we need to take a break pretty soon. So. All right. Well, it looks like have you guys got to 21? Okay. Let's talk. This is about 10:30. So good time to take a break. Um. Okay. For 16, I said B, vowed, to past tense. So, upon returning from the 3-day excursion, Roosevelt vowed to conserve nation's wilderness areas, blah, blah, blah. Beaver Bend Yosemite is actually a little like rock area with like John Muir. Roosevelt's kind of neat, little history there. Really fun place. Love Yosemite. For 17, no need for any pauses. No, it's not possessive at all, right? So I go A for that one. There's no possessives. So I'll go A. For 18, do you guys say B? Yeah. You kind of need a comma to separate the dependent and independent clause. So while filming box match for the movie Body and Soul, comma, Hal had blah blah blah, and 1947 is whatever, it's in parentheses. 19, Bahrain should be dash, because you're saying well Bahrain, look, people don't know what Bahrain is a country, and it's actually a Middle Eastern country, but yeah, whatever. But the preamble to the Constitution of Bahrain, they explain, fine, but it's not needed because he said you could have said the preamble of to the Constitution of Bahrain is much longer than one paragraph preamble to the United States Constitution. 20. I was interested about fields where I was born. So this is a modifier, right? After pleading 4 years to no effect, fine, for passes of key anti-discrimination legislation. So who was pleading for years? Who was doing all this stuff here? The pressure was in the pleading, the protesters in the pleading, the lawmakers in the pleading? No, D. Those activists were doing the pleading, right? So it's got to be right next to each other. And then lastly, 21. The other ones just sound like run-ons to me. I have to have the word and. They call these fanboys, which is an acronym for like for and not. I can't remember. There's a bunch of things that work there. But yeah, I would go A for that one. Okay. All right. So don't worry that the time's ticking. Don't worry about it because what we're gonna do after the break, we're gonna look at some math. And I'm even though we have stuff in the binder, I kind of realizing the stuff in the binder for the math is very, very thick. I'm not sure if we can get to all of it, but I do want to show you some problems in the math. So you guys can leave your laptops on. Don't worry, the time's ticking down. I don't care. Let's go to about 10:45-ish or so, maybe close to 10:50. Give you guys a break. So if you need to check your phones, just a brain break. I'm just gonna check my phone as well. Get some fresh air, use the bathroom. Yeah. So don't worry if it's ticking down. It's all good.
Why would C be wrong on this thing?
Oh, hold on. In 1919, Larzal was like governor of Mexico. And in 1920 became. Oh, you know what? I didn't see that. Hmm. You know what? I think it is C. I think it is C now. Yeah, I think it is C because you are separating a dependent independent clause. Independent first, independent afterwards. Yeah. I think without it, it's more like if you said if you're doing two different things. Yeah, but that's kind of subtle. Yeah. We'll find out, but I think I've actually I think you might be right. So cool. We'll take a little break. That's good. I'm glad you guys are doing some practice now. But we'll do the same thing with math. Actually, I think what I will do is we'll do an easy math module. You'll see me go through it fast, so we can open up a hard one. So I want you guys to see how hard one looks. Oh, no, of course, that's fine. That's weird. Okay. Oh well. So any side conversation might have been picked up. Okay. We're ready to get back? Okay, cool. So let's do this. Let's stay on this app. And you're gonna want to follow what I'm doing with the math. So I'm just gonna end this test prematurely. And by the way, you could do this test over again. Don't feel like, oh, I already did this test. No, don't worry. I mean, yes, you've seen questions, I suppose, but and it's PST, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm gonna click on review page. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna click on number 27, hit next, and next. I'm just gonna deliberately move on to the next module. See, that's what you could do. Just click on the last question, number 27, and just hit next. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Question 27, next, move on. Resume testing. Okay, I want to make sure I was at the same place right now. Is everyone on the map now? Put it back in there. Yep, we'll probably over fine. You gotta get back in. Yeah, sometimes will log you out, by the way. It's really stupid. Start over is fine.
They show it to go 27.
Yeah. What about? Yeah, go to there, the 27. The next. Next. Yeah, same thing.
I got this.
27. You see? Yeah, hit the yellow button. There you map now. Yeah, great. Okay.
So.
Can you there too? All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna deliberately do this fast so we can open up the hard questions. X-intercepts pretty easy. Should be D for number 1. So D for number 1. We'll run through it one more time before I submit. Polygon 40 should get 46. Should be C for number 2. Number 2 should be C. How many students are occupied during the semester? It's half occupied, 420. C. I do actually go a little faster than this, but I'm bragging. That's 55x squared. D. Number 4. Median is the middle number. Right now it's 8. So you want the same one that gives us 8, which is going to be B. Number 5. This is proportion, 12 pounds, 3 minutes. Times 8, 24. Season cap. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. First time we've seen trig in a while. 26 over 7. 7C. We want the slope, which is clearly positive, and it looks like you go up 1 over 2 roughly. So I say C. From 9 is J. Line J is 1/4. So you got to type in 1/4. This is what I was talking about. You have to put 5 characters. Up to 6 is negative, but of course 1/4 is fine. If your answer's decimal doesn't fit, you truncate around to the 4th digit. You don't have to put a leading 0, by the way. You put 0.25, that's fine, just so you know. For 10, which expression is a factor of this? You can take out a 2. So that's A for 10. So it gets to 85% of the previous height. It starts at 22. That's the exponential model. We talked about this. The initial times the rate. That's B. For 12, you're pulling 58 for f of x. 58 equals 5x plus 8. Solve for x, you should get 10, I think. Yep. Let's work backwards. Areas, length times width. By the way, reference tables right here. There you go. There's a reference table. It's all right there for you guys. Oh, geez, what did I just do? Line. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's gonna be 7. Okay. This is where we could probably use Desmos if you want. I can still do this in my head, but you can type in y equals x squared plus 14x plus 48. I sometimes don't like, oh, that was dumb. I wonder, it freaked out. Okay. Then x plus 8 equals 11. So the y value is at -1. They want the y value. So there you go. Plus x is 3. And if you wait. Oh, 11. Ah, goodness. I'm sorry, guys. What am I doing here? Okay. Well, let's try that again. Okay. Here we go. 99. My bad. See, I made a gross mistake. That happens because it seemed weird to me at first. Like x equals 3. Yeah. Should we not? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here. Should be D, I think. Here. So 156 over y equals 12 over t. So if you cross multiply, 156t equals 12y. Divide, which I think will be 13. Yeah, should be A. Here, if something starts at 241 and it increases by 3, we talk about interpretation, right? That's the y-intercept. That's a slope because it's change. So 241, my handwriting sucks, my apologies, plus 3x. What's the value of A? 241. Oh, let's go this way so you guys can see. Bad. Okay. Parallel lines, you guys should know this. 241. We'll review it one more time. That's gonna be 58. That'll be 122, I think. X is at most 17 less than 5 times value of y. So it can't be more than it. Yep. And the value of y is 3. So -2. If you plug it in and work it out, you should get -2. So these are pretty straightforward. I don't have to really think too hard about it. Yeah, we could go back to Desmos. You could actually do this by hand pretty easily. Actually, I'll kind of do it right now. If I add these equations, those go away, those go away. 2x equals 12, x equals 6. Remember, it's first module. But if we want 2x, that's the trap. They want 2x. I gotta put C actually. 21. If you're not sure, you could always graph it. So annoying. There we go. I wish that was a separate window. Y equals x plus 7 squared. Geez, 7 squared plus 4. they want the x value of the low point, so it's -7, so the vertex. For those who have taken algebra 2, you probably should know the transformations. I mean, you totally know, Christian, because you just kind of just know. But if you haven't, like you guys haven't done algebra 2 yet, right? You're going to do this in the fall. You can use Desmos, right? Do that. But you're going to know anyway. You're going to learn using the fall semester in algebra 2. This one's a little tricky. You do have to know your transformations. Hopefully you guys remember. Okay, and I'm giving you guys a crash course in transformations right now for those who haven't taken algebra 2 yet. F of x minus h plus k. K is a vertical. H is a horizontal. If you're going 3 down, you're going to have to take away 3 on the outside. If you're going 4 right, you actually put in 4 for h plus x minus 4 on the bottom. So it should be B, yeah. Yep. Okay, before I submit. I think that's right. I think that's right. I think that's right. D. Yep. Proportional analysis, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yep. Opposite over adjacent, SOHCAHTOA. About 1/2. Same slope, parallel. Factor out the 2. Exponential model, 22 is initial, 8.85 is your rate. You multiply by with a growth factor. Plug in 58 for y, fx like y, solve for x, you get 10. That's all I want is x. Be careful, sometimes they might ask for like 10x or 5x or 2x, 5x, whatever, right? 7, correct. X equals 3, throw it in, you should get 99. Yep. Get s by itself, subtract t divided by 7. Perfect. Yep, 13, perfect. 241's initial value. That's 58, that's 122. So ask for y, right? Oh, wait 1 sec. Oh, okay. I'm glad I checked. Did the question ask for y? Nope. They asked for x. Ooh, I would have missed this problem because I didn't read, right? This is what happens when you rush. That's gonna be 114 equals 2x. Let's make a correction there. It should be 57. I still would have opened up the hard module, but definitely my score would have gone down by at least 10 to 20 points. Yeah, see that carelessness, that recklessness of mine could have hurt me, right? So yes, y is 122, but then it asks for that, right? I'm glad that was not done on purpose. I really thought I had that one right. I had a false belief system about it, so I had to be careful there. All right. That one I'm pretty sure was right. Yep, -2. 2x. The x going to the lowest point is -7. Yep. And lastly, gonna go 4 right and 2 down. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and submit. Okay, I did it in about 10 minutes. Definitely take more time than that, or something like that, maybe 13. Okay. Now do you guys see this as your first question? Okay, we've opened up the hard questions now. I'm gonna skip around a little bit till I find something that looks pretty. Yeah, let's do that one. Okay. So, number 2. Where's my water bottle? There it is. Okay. Implementing, we talked about this already, right? We talked about this yesterday. Implementing means you want the left side and right side to be identical. Or you want, if you graph the lines, they're gonna be the same line. So you see you have 3x on each side. You have a plus 21 on the left side. What should k be? 21. If you want to graph it, go ahead and do a slider. You can graph y equals 2x plus 21. Graph, I mean, again, I could totally do this, right? Y equals 3x plus 21. Y equals 3x plus k. Okay, it's so much better now. And if I slide it, and by the way, if everyone increase the slider, you can always just like, let's bump up to 30. Butterfingers today. Yeah, see, like when I slide it there, it finally lines up. So What you could do here, if you want the y-intercept, why don't you guys plot this in the Desmos right now? So I already done 1 and 2 for you guys, right? I actually haven't done 1 yet. We'll come back to 1 later. Go and try number 2. Go to Desmos, tell me what the y-intercept is. If you want to get y by itself, go for it. You do ahead. Go ahead. You're doing your head, but what's the y-intercept, guys? Yep, 9. If you do 2y, you can graph it in Desmos, but I think it's all good if you do this. Again, interpretation, we talked about this. What does the x-axis represent? What does the y-axis represent? Height. So 1 comma 4.8. So at 1 second, what's my height? 4.8, right? Now, what choice do you like? After 1 second, my height's 4.8 meters. Yep. Nothing about velocity. Do not make up stuff. Nothing about it. I'm sure if some of you guys may have had physics or are arguing about take physics, but yeah, don't need to overthink it. We talked about this margin of error. See, this is lovely. This is awesome. How do we interpret that? What conclusion makes sense? You gotta be within 1 of the mean. The mean is 20.5. You gotta be within 1. What do we like, guys? Okay, yep. Gotta be in between. Not less or greater. Now, why did I pick A over C? How's the wording better in A than for C? Do we know for sure every value? It's possible. Talk about Donald Trump, right? 48%. If you have, the polls have at 40, I just made up that number up. You have plus minus 3%. So you could get 51% popular vote, 45%. Maybe you can get more, maybe you get less. You don't know, but it's possible. C is too firm. We don't want that. Okay. Data tables. Briggs table. So how many times does number 19 show up? 7 times. 21 shows up once. 23 shows up 7 times. 25 shows up 4 times. So you have 19, 19, 19, 19. So what's your lowest number here? 19. Okay. Let's get n by itself. Your goal is to isolate this guy. What should be your first step? Isolate n. Divide by what? Then?
Minus B.
Boom. Got it. Love it. Thank you, Eden. Okay. Y equals 39. If y equals 39, what table makes the most sense? Which one shows y being 39 the whole time? Yep, that's it. I'm gonna jump around a little bit because I really want to show you some really weird ones. Actually, this is good. We'll have you guys do this. when we talked about Desmos, you make a table. That's what I want you to do. So for those who have computers, what I want you is go to Desmos. Just click on the link right, the icon up above. I want you to make a table. Then select. This symbol looks like this, off to the left. Punch those numbers in first after you hit table. Select that, get the linear regression function.
How do you make it blue?
Type table. Yeah, you literally type table. Do 1, 155, 3, 285. You guys have an answer? Do you guys get the equation? What do you type in the table? So let's here, let me walk around and see what you guys got. Oh, you got to click on oh yeah, click on that right there. There you go. See the equation right there? Yeah. You get the equation used?
No, how do you pull the equation?
Here, I'll show you. No, just wait.
How the table.
Oh yeah. So they're right here. Sorry, your screen's all messed up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't see that. You can go there, you go. Okay, 65x plus 90. No, you get the equation? Yeah. It should be 65x plus 90. So it should be C. I'm gonna skip around a little. Actually, this one really fast. If you increase them by 43%, what's 43% as a decimal? But if you're increasing, you're not gonna multiply by 0.43, it's gonna go down by 57%, by the way. And C is not how we deal with decimals. If you're going down, it would have been B, but we're gonna go A. Let's skip that for now. Okay. Desmos again, guys. Y equals. I want you to punch that in. Tell me the x-intercept. Find me the x-intercept. And obviously give me the positive one. Okay, you guys get something? What do you get, Chris?
8.
8? Okay. Yeah, eight, I think makes sense, yeah. Cool. All right, let's skip around a little bit. Okay, we'll do this together for 15. They give you an equation. Then there's four other equations and choices. What do they want to happen? We want infinitely many solutions. We talked about it. When you have two lines, they could touch at a point. You parallel, don't touch, or on top of each other is infinitely many, right? We want to be on top of each other. So what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to, be more foolproof, right? Negative 15x plus 25y equals 6, 5. Next up, let's just punch in the first and see what happens. 12x plus 20y equals 52. Nope. Make it negative 52. Nope. Make it negative 12x. Yeah, look at that. Just to be sure, let's check the last one. Doesn't take long. You don't have to retype it. Just make the changes, right? Nope. So it's got to be C. You're getting your money's worth here. Lovely, right? So it's so nice. Because if you're going to do it by hand as a math teacher, yes, I want you to isolate y from that equation and then isolate y in each of the choices and match it up. That's going to take minutes. Even if you look at solution keys for this, it's going to tell you this crazy stuff. Actually, we'll tell you to do that. Afterwards, we'll score this. And you're going to see the answer key is like, but crazy, right? No, just use Desmos. So much better. Okay, we'll come back to that one a little bit. We'll come back to that one. We'll come back to that one. The width. We can come back to that one, I suppose. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. They give you an equation, right? And then they want this. And k is basically x, right? So do this. Y equals, you're gonna type this into Desmos. Abs. You don't have to look at absolute value in the little keyboard in Desmos. Just type in abs, that will mean absolute value. And y equals 3x. Find the point of intersection. And guess what you're going to give to me? You're going to give me the x value, right? What does x equal? Okay, work it out. You got to type in abs first.
On the end.
No. Just you put abs in parentheses, 59 minus 2x. It's going to give you a funny decimal. Probably not funny, but you pick one, obviously it's kind of close. So y equals abs, 59 minus 2x, y equals 3x. Find the point of intersection. You have an answer now?
Yeah.
What are you getting? So was it like 10.8 or sorry, 11.8?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you should get 11.8. Yep. So there we go. They mess with you these letters, right? Don't it's X. That's all. We'll skip that one. Ah, this is a good one. Okay. And by the way, you can always just adjust that way. Okay. Then we'll come back and do the other ones I've skipped over, and we'll score this. Then what I'll do is I'll kind of show you the rest of the packets. We're not going to get to I want to kind of break the monotony of like going through like 3 or 4 questions. So there's still a lot of math packets that you haven't seen yet, but I felt you need the practical experience, right? Now what's happening here? You got this crazy equation with a bunch of constants A and B, right? They say the sum of the solutions to the given equation is that, okay. What is the value of K? All right. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Replace this with Y. By the way, you are going to assume when Y is 0. But we're going to, just for the sake of graphing it, I'm going to go to Desmos. Again, I can show you the algebraic solution. I don't want to. I think this is better. Okay, put my sliders in, right? Now, They said A and B are positive constants. So let's make them positive. Should I slide them around? No. Just leave it alone. Personally, I would have made make my own numbers for A and B and just graph it, but it does it for you, right? The sum of the solution, looking for x-intercepts. Let's find them. Where are they? This and this. So if I add it up, 0.0625 plus 0.25 has to equal k times 4 plus 1. Because remember, A and B are both 1, right? So 5k equals whatever that is. Divided by 5, what's k equal? 0.0625. And that's your answer, by the way. Now, one will say, well, what if I chose different numbers for A and B? It would not have mattered. It would not have mattered. You would still look at the same value for K. I mean, we could try. What if I bumped this up to and I remember doing problems like this. I didn't have Desmos back in my day, but something like this, I would actually try the numbers because I was just a little OCD. 0.125 and 0.5, fine, you get 0.625 and then work it out. And then of course that will be 10. You still get the same thing. It still would be 0.0625. And with the way you're going to type it, 0.0625. And remember, you can't put any more past that. You don't want to put that trailing zero. Like if you did this, that would be incorrect. Don't do that. If you cut off too soon or round too soon, it'll be incorrect. They even say, if your answer is decimal that doesn't fit, truncate or whatever, but you gotta put up the 5 characters. You can also put as a fraction, which I think is 1/16. If you wanted to figure that out, you could. Okay, so now if I see here, obviously there's some problems I've not done yet. I've not done 1, 9, 12, 14, 6, 17, 18, 19, and 21. There's about 16 minutes left. Go and do the rest of those questions. Help each other out, walk around. So 1, 9, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. So it's 9 more questions. And right when the time is about to run out, I'll show you the answer. I'm going to do it right now myself. Sorry, I'm a little tired.
Little bit.
Well, that's for us, is this,
Yeah, we did the same thing with the one. Low rush.
And by your, I think a lot of bring paper too, like scratch paper. So sometimes it might help to draw, like 21, for example, might help to draw. Two in my head, which is not smart, but whatever.
This is miles. That's something.
Ooh, 21's tricky. Yeah, I'll walk around, kind of help you guys out, get all done. That's it. You might want to draw for that one. That's a tricky one. Yeah, you might want to get some paper. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. Uh, it's a tough geometry question. If you're in geometry, you probably would know because you probably would know the concept pretty easily. That's hilarious. Everyone's on 21. Yeah. Actually, that doesn't matter. Yeah, because if they're similar, all the course methods are the same. So P and P prime are the same. It's a trick question. So just be. Yeah, it won't matter.
You would have gotten the same answer. It would have gotten 30 again.
Of course, right. It wouldn't matter though, right? I mean, if they ask for like the angle D, sure, then you want to get 210, whatever that is. How are you guys doing? You guys got wrapped up, I think. All right, let me show my answers. So we should get A for number one. Should get 21 for number two. Number three, I got 9. Number 4, I got A. Number 5, I got A. 6, we said 19. 7, we said B. 8, we said B. 9, we said A. This represents the length. 10, we said C. 11, we said A. 12, I said D as in dog. 13, we said C. 14, I said 16606. Just multiplied out. And that's mainly because the units, right? If pressure is pounds per square inch. You have square inches, then you multiply together to get the pounds, right? And yeah, pressure is force over area, but anyway. And then 15 is C. We would do that one together. But 16 is B. That's making an equation from the information. X, Y represent time. You have the rates. 17 is going to be 1/2. I think so, yeah. 18 should be 30 degrees. 90 should be B. I think so, yeah. 20 is A. 21 was D. Let me draw a diagram for you. If you do this, and say that's A, B, and C, so that's 15 and 38. And then if you do this, and they want BC over BD. Now, if you think about BC is the hypotenuse, BD is a shorter leg. It's similar to the red triangle. So the hypotenuse over the shorter leg and the big triangle is 30 over 15. You're going to expect the same ratio. There's similar triangles. And one way that could help, if I hypothetically say that's 20 degrees and that's 70 degrees, then of course this would be a right angle still, and that'd be 20 degrees. And that'd be 70 degrees. So yeah, you kind of see you're following the same pattern in many ways. I know it's kind of complicated the way I just drew it, but they will be similar. So that's why it's D. And lastly, 22 is, we already did that one. Got a minute left. Let's score it. Hit next. Okay, our reading writing score is gonna be terrible. It's okay. Our math score, well, no, set PSAT be out 760, so it should be perfect, I think. I usually will beat myself up if I miss a question. Let's see, but this is how you want to do it. And we noticed we did Desmos a few times. We're actually gonna review our answers afterwards. So we can see how crazy their solutions are, how sometimes Desmos is better. View your score. So stupid. Yep, there we go. So I got a crappy reading writing score. Looks like we got the highest for math, 760. So we click on it. Obviously, they'll show you these little things here. Obviously, we didn't do all of it, so we got really low scores. You know, it's a 7 rating, 7-bar rating. Here, obviously, we got everything right. If I click on math, yep, didn't miss a single question. Got all right. 44 correct, 0 incorrect. If I kind of jump, you don't have to follow along. You can just watch what I'm doing. So like the second module, I didn't need this for number 1. You could have done for number 2. Could have done for number 3. Didn't need for number 4. Didn't need for number 5. Didn't need for number 6. Didn't need for number 7. Didn't need for number 8. Not number 9. Did it for everything for 10. Didn't need for there. No, you don't really. You could. Actually, I'll say 4. You could have graphed them. You would have matched. So yeah, because Desmos there. Definitely for 13. Not there. We did there at 6. No, not really. Not really. By the way, that's a slope. That's what you're doing. You're going up to right 8. Sorry, right 4. Up to right 4. That's average rate of change. Which you did calculus, Christian. No Desmos there. No Desmos there. Did Desmos there. Not there. 8. So I did nearly 4% of the questions in Desmos in that second module. That really helped a lot. And if you want to see their solution, do you want to do all that? No, no way. That was ridiculous. Like here, yeah, I mean, again, we did Desmos, right? I mean, that one, yeah, I mean, it makes sense with their way of describing it. Yes, realize that's double the width. Fine. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty straightforward. Let's see here. Yeah, they want you to kind of isolate or get the equation to be equivalent, I guess, dividing both sides. You try to be a match up, whatever. Yeah, see here, like you could factor it, but again, use Desmos, right? Yeah, here, like, and how do you find the slope? Use Desmos. Like, you can see how crazy the solutions are sometimes. Yeah, it's just getting y by itself. Yeah, so you get the idea. Okay, we still got about 19 more minutes. So what we could do is this. But I'm glad we did this. I think it was a little better. I'm glad you guys were collaborating. So that's awesome. Um, let's just kind of briefly look at the other packets, just so you kind of see what's in there. Maybe we have some time to do a little bit of work, but I don't imagine we'll do. So if you want to take out the last 3 packets, so you'll see when it says functions, chapter 13, solving nonlinear drills, and chapter 23, geometry is really light. There's a lot of problems in here. I gotta close this. So you can see here, functions, right? I'm just gonna kind of scan through this. So you can see like, I might stop and say, hey, let's try this problem right now, right? We still got a little more time left. You see a bunch of stuff on function notation, right? It's a bunch of stuff here. Want to see what would be. Ooh, now we're talking. Okay, let's go to number 34. So page 34, number 1. Page 34, number 1. Okay. All right. So what's happening here? What's going on? What are they giving us? Table, right? What kind of equation do they want? Linear or quadratic? Should I do this by hand or should I use Desmos? How? What am I gonna punch in? Got it. Yes. Excellent. You guys are getting it. Good. Now, unfortunately, you guys don't have your computers. That's okay, because I don't want you getting back out again. So I'm gonna do table. I don't think you need all those points, but -2, 8, 0, 2, 2, -20, 4, -58. Let's do this magic. Seriously. So easy. And there's a bunch. We gotta pick the quadratic. There you go. And it's gonna be season cap. There you go. If you're gonna do this by hand, by the way, so I have to ask my students in algebra 2 to do this by hand. For those who may have done algebra 2 or something similar like IM3, you guys mentioned that. Have you guys ever done matrices? Yeah, you could use a matrix to solve this problem. Don't do it on the SAT. Don't do it on the SAT. Do what I just did. But if you think, don't write this down, by the way. But if you're going to do this algebraically, you could do that. And you could punch in like the coordinates for X and Y, like, oh, 8, Y is 8, A is -2, so you get this, right? And then you can plug in like say 2 for Y and 0 for X. Then you plug in -20 for Y and 2 for X. You have all this, right? Then you gotta solve that algebraically. I mean, yeah, sure, playing C for 2, I guess. But what did they give that to you? Then you can have even nastier stuff. You can have 3 equations to variables. No. And then solve algebraic. No, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Even then, in this case, I still got 2 equated 2 variables. You use matrices like to put in the matrix and work it out. You guys might have done that with inverse matrices, but again, I'm talking crazy. Let's not do that. It's not math class, it's SAT class, right? We want to be efficient. We'll jump around a little bit more. But you see, like for number 5, again, I can use a table, right? I can use a table for number 5, but it's linear. Use linear regression. A is the slope, B is the y-intercept, Divide the two. You're done. Actually, well, I won't do. I'll let you guys do it for. You guys should do it on your own. Now you know. Now you have this. Now you have the tools to do this, right? And we'll review this when I have my drop-in session in a couple weeks from now. I'm going to do a drop-in. I'll remind you guys. And even if you're not taking SAT, just drop by. Yeah, it'd be good. You know, you guys already paid for the class. You should do it. This is on systems of equations. I'm not sure why that's showing up. Just did that. How did I repeat that? Oh, that's lame. Hold on. Ugh. Okay, so some of these are repeated. That's lovely. I'll need to update that. That's stupid. Okay. Oh geez. That's there too. Hold on, give me a sec here. No wonder this is so thick. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna have to update this when I get back to my classroom tomorrow. Anyway, so these I made are a little too thick. I don't know why I was so careless when I did that. I was distracted. Anyway, that's just all the packets. Okay, no wonder I was just thinking these are so thick. Yeah, graphing nonlinear. These are some like just interesting things that you probably would only see in Algebra 2. I'm gonna jump around a little bit here. Let's see. Yeah. Let's try this one here. Okay. Let's take a look at number 3. And 5. Yeah, let's do that. That's good. Okay, we're on page 98. Number 3. Hard questions. Here, go and read it first. Oh geez. Okay, I totally repeated some of these packets. It's not good. Okay, so they say g of x is equation, right? If for those who've done polynomials, you'll know that this is a cubic function with x-intercepts of 9, 7, and 3. But then they say this, right? Does anyone know what that means? We have an x plus 2. What transformation that means? Left 2. Perfect. Thank you, Farah. Awesome. So do you want to find the new x-intercepts and then add up the x-intercepts? Okay. That's not hard, actually. I mean, I could probably figure it out on my own. But if you didn't know what this meant, right? Like, for example, Chris McConnell, you guys haven't had algebra 2 yet, right? What are you gonna do? You could still do this. It's something graphical, right? X-intercepts. You actually type in g of x equals x minus 9. It knows function notation. X minus 3. Okay. Then you're gonna say this. H of x equals g of x plus 2. Oh, hold on. There you go. So blue. So I'm going to turn off this so I'm not distracted by it. 1, 5. So 1, 1, 1, 5, 7. Add up, 13. Done. I use Desmos to do that for me. See, you don't need to know this concept. Just Desmos it. I mean, of course, I knew the x-intercepts because I know polynomial functions are not. If you've had algebra 2, you should know this. And if you shift 2 left, take away 2 from these, and I'm up to get 13. Let's take a look at number 5. Okay. Ugh. So for those, I guess with equations of circles, conic sections like hyperbolas, parabolas, ellipses, like they don't do that, by the way, these circles. Now, do you guys remember this formula? X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Crystal Colin, because you guys had geometry last year. Do you guys do this in your geometry class? Do you remember? I don't know if they cover this in geometry. Equation of circles.
Ooh, I did it some bits. I don't
Okay.
know. If it's
No worries, it's all good. Now, do you guys remember how to actually do this by hand? How to get from here to here? Do you remember that process? What it's called? Starts with completing.
square.
Yeah, you could do that. I'm not going to do that with 3x and 3y and like fractions because I have odd numbers. To complete the square, you have to do this. X squared plus 3x. You got to take half of 3 and square it. What? I got to do that. And I got to add to 9/4 to the other side and add. No, don't do that. What do they want? The radius, right? Give them what they want. Do it. Use your tools. Just punch it in. You didn't have this luxury on the old SAT. Yeah, you just use a graphing calculator. You got this luxury now. Hold on, I'm gonna close this down. So yeah, I'm totally gonna do this. And by the way, we're on page 99. So hold on, toggle. Come on. Okay, x squared. So annoying. X squared plus y. And if you want to do an exponent, just hit shift 6 plus 3x plus 3y. The short-term memory sucks. Equals 9/2. Okay, there's a circle. What you're going to do is locate the high point and low point. What's the y coordinate of the high point? What's the y coordinate of the low point? What's the difference between those two? 1.5 negative 4.5. 6, right? But that's a diameter. What's half of 6? 3. That's it. What if they ask for the center? Fine. Average it. The x coordinate 1.5. Average that's going to be negative 1.5. Add them up, divide by 2, right? So these are a great opportunities to use Desmos. And gosh, this is a step. I don't know what was I think when I photocopied this. This is crazy. Okay, this is too much. I have to update this. Solving linear. We did these also. Crap. Okay. Representation interpretation. Hold on. This is solving nonlinear. Yeah, we could. I mean, we gotta wrap up in a few minutes. I don't know if I want to get too carried away here. Okay. Why don't you guys go to page 161 in that packet? Oh, you gotta be in the second packet now. Sorry. The other thick packet. So at this point, I messed up the photocopy this once. Let me see something real fast here. We'll mess on a price seriously. Let's try this here real fast. Give me a sec here. We'll do it in just a moment. what that happened. All right. So we look at number 4. So page 161, number 4, right? We saw a problem very similar to this, right? Put that y, and they say this the product instead of the sum. We did a problem like that. We had the sum on that practice we just did online on the Bluebook app. So what's going to happen? You're going to graph it. You're going to get a parabola. It looks like this. You're going to find the x-intercepts. You're going to multiply them. We call this like x1 and x2. And you're going to use a slider. I'll say C and D are both 1, you know. Fine. So x1 times x sub 2 equals KCD. But by the way, after you do that, you know what C and D are, you can solve for K. So that's it. And then I just realized that equivalent expression, another one, but there's some good ones here. Anyhow, I think what I'll do is I'll email you guys this file. I'll update this file. So you may want to discard some of these files because they're totally done out of whack. And the geometry one's a light one. Geometry is very light. Okay, well, guys, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I felt you guys grew a lot today. It was more involved, more hands-on, less me talking. That's good. I like that. And I'll stay in touch. I'll add you guys to the Google Drive. I'll shoot you guys some email reminders. And yeah, drop by in a couple weeks. We'll stay in touch.
You said you had